Okay, let's dive into this. Jesse Armstrong, the creator of Succession, he's got a new film out, a feature called Mountainhead.
Right, and we've been looking at the reviews plus an interview with Armstrong about it.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to unpack what these sources are telling us, about the film's take on tech billionaires, their world, and the kind of satire it's using.
Yeah, what's the vibe, what's the message according to these materials?
And the scene it sets is pretty intense. You've got 4 tech titans gathering in this super remote mansion.
Well, the world outside is basically collapsing.
Yeah.
Partly because of their own technology.
So the core setup, according to the sources, is this kind of stag weekend, right, for 4 incredibly wealthy Silicon Valley figures.
Right, in this snowbound, isolated mansion. And the sources name the key players.
Yeah, there's Venus Parrish. He's played by Corey Michael Smith, heads up a social media company, Tram.
Described as sort of a Zuckerberg or Musk type, And his company's AI update is what apparently caused all this worldwide chaos.
Like deepfake violence, market collapses, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Then you've got Jeff, played by Rami Youssef. He developed ethical AI, and some sources see a parallel to, like, Sam Altman there.
And Jason Schwartzman is Hugo, or Super. He's the host.
Right, the host. But he's only worth $500 million from a meditation app, which sounds nuts, but in that company...
He feels insecure, right.
Right.
Not a unicorn.
Yeah, that's the term used. And finally, Steve Carell plays Randall. He's like a mentor figure, an investor.
And he's got terminal cancer, and his big goal is to get his brain uploaded to the internet.
Which Venus has apparently promised him is possible. So that's the setup.
But here's where it gets really interesting, based on these reviews and the interview. This chaos outside, it's not just background noise for them.
No, not at all. The sources really emphasize that these characters see the situation as, well, an opportunity, a twisted one.
It's striking, isn't it? They're not horrified by society breaking down.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
They're reportedly calculating how to leverage it, for more profit, more power.
The sources even mention them discussing buying up falling nations. Haiti is mentioned specifically.
Which is just chilling.
Yeah.
And it ties into this idea the sources pick up on, that these guys see themselves as the only, real people.
And everyone else is just an NPC, a non-playable character.
Pretty much. That's the interpretation coming through in the reviews.
Huh.
Total detachment.
And the satire itself, the sources describe it as really sharp, almost brutal sometimes. There are some memorable lines highlighted.
Oh, yeah. Like the concern over whether the olives are pre-pitted.
Mm-hmm.
It shows this kind of absurd vanity.
Or Venus asking Randall, completely seriously apparently, if he believes in other people. Just wow.
And Randall dismissing the global disaster their tech caused as just toxic, not terminal, because the tech itself works.
That really captures a certain mindset, doesn't it?
It does. And that line, nothing means anything and everything is funny, that's presented as a really key, terrifyingly detached thought.
They even talk about murder using corporate speak, like conceptualize it.
Exactly. And the sources stress these aren't just jokes. They say this dialogue is meant to, quote, eviscerate the pretensions and delusions of the tech elite.
It shows the vanity, the selfishness, how they can convince themselves of basically anything.
Right. And Soup's insecurity about not being a unicorn billionaire fits right in there, too. It's all part of that picture.
Some sources even call the film important protest art.
Yeah, because it reminds you that these powerful people can also be, the source uses this phrase, fucking ridiculous, and maybe not worthy of all that power they hold.
Let's talk about the setting, too. Mountainhead itself, the mansion.
The sources describe it as huge, right? 21,000 square feet, 7 bedrooms in Utah, pure luxury.
But Armstrong, in the interview, describes these places differently, like gilded cages or beige prison cells, impersonal.
An international hotel feel is how you put it, apparently, not like a home.
And there's that anecdote about the cinematographer feeling this incredibly strong feeling of depression just looking at the house.
Yeah, it highlights this oppressive quality, even with all the expense. It's part of the critique.
Now, the sources aren't universally glowing. There are criticisms.
Right. While they praise the satire and performances, especially Carell and Smith, some reviewers felt it gets a bit stagey or artificial.
Particularly towards the end. One source called it an untenable farce.
And the criticism seems to be that while the characters work as these sharp satirical cartoons.
They maybe lack the depth, the plausibility that Armstrong built over 4 seasons in succession.
Exactly. Translating that kind of deep character study to a 2-hour film is tough, and some sources felt that challenge showed.
Okay, so pulling it all together from these sources, what you get is this picture of a film that's a really biting satire.
Yeah, about tech power, AI dangers, and this incredible detachment of the super rich.
All set against the backdrop of the world kind of falling apart because of their actions.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, based on these sources. The film seems to push the tech idea of accelerationism.
Yeah.
Rapid change, don't worry about the consequences, to a really dark place.
From the top, acceleration just leads straight downhill, is the idea presented.
Right. And if some sources are calling this dark satire perfect for the way we live now, well, what does that reflection really tell us about where we are?